Welcome back to Making Money Matter, ladies and gentlemen. I'm coming to you again from the IMARC conference here in Sydney. Sitting right next to me is Shane Jones. He is the Minister for Resources and the Associate Energy Minister over from New Zealand. I'm going to try and speak Kiwi now, New Zealand. But I love New Zealand, but also New Zealand has, you know me as that gold lady, New Zealand's got a lot of gold, it's got a lot of coal, and Minister Jones is very much of the understanding that we have to be open for business. You have to be open for business in New Zealand, and mining is open for business again. So I'd just like to ask a couple of questions of you. First of all, what are you doing over here in Australia?
Sadly, under the last government, the law was changed, and out of our Crown Minerals Act, the term promote was stripped. We are now changing the legislation. It will be changed by the end of the year so that the promotion of the minerals sector is a real thing and a statutory duty. And for those reasons, I wanted to come back, fly the flag, talk to as many people as possible, both the stall holders, the presenters, and fellow politicians, to show them that the minerals sector is being reinvigorated in New Zealand. And as you point out, gold, coal, rare earth minerals, mineral sands, iron sands. But when you're a small open trading economy across the ditch, you've got to fly the flag and holler.
You do have to holler. And what I'd like to know is, what's the biggest challenge New Zealand faces at the moment? You just said you're going to reintroduce the word promote into legislation, which actually astounds me that it wasn't in there before. But okay, taking that aside, talk to us about the biggest challenge, because New Zealand's a beautiful country.
Yeah. Well, our economy is probably 350, 60 billion Aussie dollars. It's about 400 billion Kiwi, so let's say it's a 20% difference. Now, every arrow in the quiver has to hit its target. And for those of your viewers who know about Kiwis, you'd know we've got great tourism, but our greatest export is primary produce, milk, and rugby players, of course.
Oh, rugby. You know what? He had to throw that in, didn't he? The All Blacks. Yeah. Well, I'll be dealing with that later, don't worry.
No doubt there'll be a cricket response. So look, the challenge that we've had is to reinvigorate, restart, reset the minerals sector, because it had been marginalised. Right. Doesn't mean that it was driven out of existence, but it no longer occupied a position either of pride or priority. And in some regions, this is how you're going to make money in New Zealand, by digging stuff up, because we not only have it in abundance, we also have really good guardrails. And those guardrails we need to ensure don't become weaponised to actually stop minerals extraction, because there's always going to be an element in our Western societies who catastrophise mining.
Absolutely.
And every day I wake up seeking out my quarry to ensure that they don't weaponise, don't demonise what's a legitimate economic activity. Bigger in Australia, but still important in New Zealand. So me winning over the hearts and minds of the new generation of New Zealand voters, and ensuring they understand this is in their interests.
Absolutely.
It's economic security.
Yep.
And there's always going to be a minority who have their own deluded views. But hey, it's a democracy, and my job is to meet them square on and allow economic rationalism, facts and science to overwhelm climate alarmism and hyperbole.
Climate alarmism and hyperbole is interesting, but one of the biggest areas is gold and coal. Now, we all know that out there at the moment, everyone's trying to shut down, New South Wales shutting down, no more new coal mines in New South Wales, we're all turning around and trying to shut it off. And I think you and I are on the same page, is that you still need baseload power. I have no problem with looking after the environment, but not at the cost and the expense of giving us reliable baseload power. My question is, at the moment I believe New Zealand exports most of its coal. Is there going to be a time when the narrative will change in New Zealand and people will understand that coal is important too, reliable power?
It's changing as we speak. What we do, perversely enough, after our former Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern banned the oil and gas industry, the most stupendously grievous decision I've ever been involved in. So what we now do, because the gas industry was destabilised, gas reserves are declining, and investment was chilled. So now
Investment was what?
chilled. People ran away.
Okay.
They didn't see a future. So we're unwinding all of that. Our coal is predominantly exported for coking purposes. We do have thermal coal, but I have to tell you that Indonesian coal is imported to keep the lights on at the margin in New Zealand, and that's the base load, that's the contingency fuel. And obviously it's a struggle standing up and defending that every day, but it's part of what I do, because I genuinely resent this non-scientific demonisation of a resource incredibly important to maintain our first quality of life. You don't have industry, you don't have manufacturing, you can't keep hospitals, you can't keep schools, you can't keep households in a style of operation that we've grown accustomed to unless you have reliable power. And if you want to go and live in a country where they have constant power blockages, outages, then bugger off and go there. Not doing it to New Zealand, okay?
Yeah. Stop doing it to New Zealand and stop doing it to Australia.
Yeah.
Do you see that as the biggest challenge? Is there a challenge in the gold industry? A lot of my audience know I'm known as that gold lady. Is the gold, because there's a lot of gold in New Zealand, isn't there?
Yeah.
And one of our companies on the ASX, Santana Minerals, is over there.
Correct.
Big resource.
Correct.
Big resource. Is that growing? Are you very confident in gold? Because gold also contains a critical mineral in some deposits.
Indeed.
Called antimony.
Indeed. Yeah, so your viewers may not know, we're about to introduce the most efficient regime in the OECD for the allocation of mineral permits. It's called the Fast Track One-Stop Shop.
Oh.
It will be legislative reality prior to Christmas. And this will enable not only miners, but people creating infrastructure, energy projects, and related significant investments to go through a bespoke process where you get one consent for multiple permits.
Wow.
And it will be navigated under a key purpose, and that key purpose is economic development. And why we're doing that is to turbocharge and accelerate the process, and some of the key applicants are gold miners.
Really?
You mentioned one, Santana. Oceania is another one.
Yep.
And there's Bathurst Coal.
Yep.
They're another one. So these entities will be entitled under the new law to go through this primrose path, i.e. a path that is designed to allocate with efficiency and expeditiousness the necessary consent, so then people can mobilise the capital, employ the men and women, and go and grow the economy. And what the hell's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that, and I do want to say thank you, because I believe you are a real advocate for the mining industry, for the resources industry, and for understanding how it is important for economic growth. But one of the things I just wanted to ask you this, one of the comments that I picked up was you recently said, "You're keeping the lights on with unicorn kisses." What did that mean? Is that a New Zealand saying? I was just going, what the heck?
Actually, when I said that in Parliament, my wife thought, ooh, that might represent plagiarism. So then her and her friends set off searching on Google, like all amateur sleuths.
Yes.
Where on earth did my husband dream that term up from? And look, they couldn't find it anywhere other than in a dark, obscure, and pretty edgy bar frequented by the gay community in New York. There's a unicorn kisses. I can assure you that's not where I got it from. So I just think I picked it up from, I don't know, banter. I'm sure someone else has used the term, but I popularised it in our Parliament. And basically what I was saying, that you can't run an investment process or a modern economy just on the basis of whims and wokeism and fears and anxieties. Sadly, it involves trade-offs, and those trade-offs will represent balancing the interest between ecology, environment, economics, employment, climate change, resilience. So the term unicorn kisses, it just became a proxy for unfounded, airy-fairy ideas.
Right, I like that. Unfounded, airy-fairy ideas, because what we have to do is we have to base everything we do on, as you said, economic prosperity.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to my audience? Because I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I love New Zealand. I've been to Queenstown, I've been to Auckland, I've been to a few places around. It's a beautiful place to visit. What would you like to say to my audience? They're investors now.
Sure.
Obviously, some of them will be investors in Santana and Bathurst.
Sure. Well, a whole bunch of us Kiwis, we've lived over here and worked in Aussie, and most of us gone home. I became a politician in 2005. Prior to that, I was in the fishing industry and property. And in Aussie, I lived in 1982, 83, 84 when Bondi bought the America's Cup back. So
yep.
I've sort of earned my stripes over there, and that was before the massive boom, quite frankly, in Western Australia. But look, New Zealand is open for business. Our new government is taking quite a liberating impact. We're stripping away generations of red tape and
Fantastic.
calcified rules that no longer are fit for purpose. And you'll find that it's an opening, friendly environment, and it's a great place to come and spend money and sneak away for an enjoyable time. Rest assured, we do reciprocate and come to the Gold Coast on a regular basis.
Minister Jones, thank you so much for joining me on Making Money Matter, taking time out of a very busy schedule here at IMARC. But I appreciate your time, and I hope to see you one day over in New Zealand. See ya.
Bye.